The night market stretched endlessly, a maze of stalls glowing under strings of lanterns. The air was thick with the scent of grilled pork skewers, fried dough, and sweet mango sticky rice. Sukhumvit was alive in a way that made the city feel like it was breathing, every corner pulsing with sound and color. Nairan had always loved the chaos of Bangkok's markets, but tonight felt different. Tonight, he wasn't wandering alone. Korn walked beside him, tall and clumsy, juggling bags of food with his usual grin. Phum and Ananda followed close behind, their voices weaving into the hum of the crowd. It had been Korn's idea to invite them all out together. "We should do something fun," he had said, spilling coffee on his shirt as usual. "Not just the two of us, but all four. Like a proper double date." Nairan had hesitated at first. He wasn't sure if he was ready for something that felt so public, so official, but the thought of sharing laughter with Phum and Ananda softened his reluctance. And now, as they moved through the crowded aisles, he realized how right Korn had been. Korn nearly dropped his drink when a child darted past him, and Ananda caught it just in time, steadying his hand with a quiet smile. "You're hopeless," Ananda teased, his voice calm. Korn laughed, unbothered. "Hopeless, but charming," he replied, earning a shake of the head from Nairan. Phum chuckled softly, watching the exchange with amusement. For him, the joy wasn't just in the food or the atmosphere. It was in seeing Nairan smile again, seeing his friend's guarded edges soften in Korn's presence. They stopped at a stall selling skewers, ordering more than they could possibly eat. The vendor handed them plates piled high, and they found a corner to sit together, balancing food on their laps. Conversation flowed easily. Korn told stories about his clumsy misadventures at work, exaggerating details until Nairan rolled his eyes, but couldn't stop laughing. Ananda shared anecdotes from his art classes, describing the way children saw the world in colors and shapes that adults often forgot. Phum listened, his heart swelling with quiet joy. He had always wanted this, a circle of companionship, a place where love and friendship intertwined. As the night deepened, they wandered further into the market. Nairan and Korn walked hand in hand, their laughter echoing against the stalls. Phum and Ananda followed, their fingers brushing, their connection steady. At one point, Korn insisted on trying a game where you had to toss rings onto bottles. He missed every throw, his clumsiness on full display, but his grin never faltered. Nairan teased him mercilessly, but when Korn finally landed a ring, Nairan clapped louder than anyone else. Phum and Ananda watched, smiling at the ease between them. Later, they found a stall selling mango sticky rice. They shared a plate, passing bites back and forth, the sweetness lingering on their tongues. Ananda leaned close to Phum, whispering a joke that made him laugh until his chest ached. Nairan glanced at them, his smile softening. For the first time, he realized how much they had all changed. He wasn't just finding love again, he was finding family. The market lights flickered as the night wore on, but none of them were in a hurry to leave. They wandered together, weaving through the crowd, their voices blending into the hum of the city. For Phum, it was the first time he felt truly understood, surrounded by people who accepted him without question. For Nairan, it was the first time he felt hope again, laughter replacing the heaviness he had carried for so long. For Korn and Ananda, it was the joy of seeing their partner smile, of knowing they were building something steady, something real. By the time they left the market, the city had quieted slightly, the lanterns swaying in the night breeze. They walked together down Sukhumvit Road, the four of them side by side. Korn stumbled over a loose stone, nearly dropping his bag again, and Nairan caught him, shaking his head with affection. Phum and Ananda exchanged a glance, their smiles soft, their hands intertwined. It wasn't just a double date. It was the beginning of something larger, something that bound them together beyond romance. In the chaos of Bangkok's night market, amidst the laughter and the clumsiness, they had found a constellation of companionship for lives weaving into one story. The morning sun filtered through Sukhumvit's skyline, casting long shadows across the streets as the four of them made their way toward Benjikiti Park. The city was already alive, Vendors setting up stalls, office workers rushing to the BTS, tuk-tuks weaving through traffic, but the park promised a slower rhythm, a pocket of calm in the chaos. Niren carried a small backpack filled with sandwiches Korn had insisted on making. "Don't laugh," Korn warned, adjusting his glasses as he walked. "I followed a recipe this time." Niren smirked. "A recipe? That's progress. Last time you just threw things together and called it fusion." Thum chuckled, walking beside Ananda, who carried a sketchbook tucked under his arm. "I'm curious to see if Korn's sandwiches survive the day," he teased. "They'll survive," Korn said confidently, though his grin betrayed his nerves. "And if they don't, we'll just buy noodles." The park opened before them, a wide expanse of green framed by the shimmering lake. Joggers moved along the paths, families spread blankets under trees, and the air carried the faint scent of grass and jasmine. It felt like a different world compared to Sukhumvit's relentless pace. They found a spot beneath a large tree, its branches stretching wide enough to shade them all. Korn unpacked the sandwiches, handing them out with exaggerated care. Niren took a bite, paused, and raised an eyebrow. "Not bad," he admitted. "Edible." "Edible." Korn groaned. "That's all I get?" "Edible is a compliment coming from me," Niren replied, his smile betraying affection. Thum and Ananda laughed, settling onto the grass. Ananda opened his sketchbook, pencil moving quickly as he began to capture the scene, the lake shimmering in the distance, Korn's animated gestures, Niren's amused expression. Thum leaned closer, watching the lines take shape. "You make it look effortless," he said softly. "It's practice," Ananda replied. "And patience. Art is about seeing what others overlook." Thum thought about that, his gaze drifting to Niren and Korn. He had seen Niren at his lowest, broken after heartbreak, and now he was watching him laugh again, teasing Korn with ease. It felt like witnessing a quiet miracle. After lunch, Korn produced a frisbee from his bag. "Time for exercise," he declared. Niren groaned. "Exercise? You? This I have to see." Korn threw the frisbee with enthusiasm, but it veered wildly, landing near a startled jogger. Apologies followed, laughter spilling from the group. Thum tried next, his throw more controlled, and Ananda caught it with surprising grace. Korn's second attempt sent the frisbee skimming into the lake, where it floated helplessly. "Hopeless," Niren said, shaking his head, though his smile was fond. "Hopeless but charming," Korn replied, echoing his own words from the night market. They collapsed onto the grass, laughter still bubbling. Ananda sketched the moment, capturing Korn's sheepish grin and Niren's amused expression. Thum watched him draw, feeling the warmth of belonging settle deeper into his chest. As the afternoon stretched on, the four of them lay on the grass, watching the sky shift from gold to violet. The city's towers loomed in the distance, but here, under the tree, the world felt smaller, more intimate. Silence settled, comfortable and steady. Thum closed his eyes, listening to the rhythm of the park, the rustle of leaves, the distant chatter, the soft hum of traffic beyond the gates. He thought about how far they had all come. Niren had found laughter again. Korn had found someone who accepted his clumsiness as charm. And Thum, he had found Ananda, someone who understood his love without question. Ananda's hand brushed his, fingers intertwining. Thum opened his eyes, meeting his gaze. No words were needed. Nearby, Niren leaned against Korn, his head resting lightly on his shoulder. Korn's arm wrapped around him, steady and protective. For a moment, the four of them were simply there. Two couples, one circle, bound by love and friendship. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of violet and orange, Niren spoke softly. "You know," he said, his voice thoughtful, "I didn't think I'd get this again. Not just love, but this. Us. All of us." Thum smiled, his heart full. "Me neither. But I think we're exactly where we're meant to be." The park lights flickered on, casting a gentle glow across the paths. The lake shimmered under the fading light, and the four of them sat together, knowing that their paths had intertwined into something lasting. The city was restless that evening, Sukhumvit streets buzzing with traffic and neon lights. Yet tucked away in a narrow soi stood a temple that seemed untouched by the chaos. Its gates opened into a courtyard lined with lanterns, the air heavy with incense. The sound of chanting drifted from within, steady and soothing, as if the temple itself breathed differently from the city outside. Niren had suggested the visit. "We've done markets, parks, rooftops," he said. "Let's try something quieter. Something grounding." Korn agreed instantly, eager to follow wherever Niren led. Fum and Ananda welcomed the idea too, curious to see how their bond would feel in a space of reverence rather than noise. The four of them arrived just as dusk painted the sky in shades of violet. The temple's golden spires glowed softly, reflecting the last light of day. Niren and Korn walked hand in hand, their steps slow, reverent. Fum and Ananda followed, their fingers brushing, their connection steady. Inside, the temple was hushed. Candles flickered against ancient walls, casting shadows that danced across murals of gods and myths. The air was thick with incense, its sweetness clinging to their clothes. They moved quietly, each of them aware of the weight of the space. Korn, usually clumsy and loud, seemed transformed. He bowed carefully, his movements deliberate. Niren watched him with a mix of amusement and affection, whispering, "You're taking this very seriously." "I don't want to knock over a candle," Korn whispered back, earning a soft laugh from Niren. Fum and Ananda lit incense sticks together, their hands steady as they placed them before the altar. Fum closed his eyes, whispering a wish he didn't share aloud. Ananda glanced at him, sensing the unspoken words, and squeezed his hand gently. Later, they stepped outside into the courtyard, where lanterns hung from strings, swaying in the evening breeze. A monk guided them to a small ceremony, lighting paper lanterns and releasing them into the sky. Each of them held one, the paper glowing softly as the flame inside flickered. Korn made his wish aloud, grinning. "I wish I'd stopped tripping over everything." Niren rolled his eyes but smiled. "That's not going to happen." Fum's wish was quieter, whispered only to Ananda. "I wish this lasts," he said softly. Ananda's gaze was steady. "It will," he replied, his voice certain. They released the lanterns together, watching them rise into the night sky. The glow drifted upward, joining dozens of others, until the sky looked like it was filled with stars. For a moment, the city's chaos felt far away. Afterward, they sat on the temple steps, the cool stone beneath them. The bells rang softly, marking the hour. Conversation turned reflective. "Do you ever think about how different this is from what people expect?" Fum asked quietly. "Love, I mean."
Us.
Ananda nodded. "All the time. But I think that's what makes it ours. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's." Niren leaned against Korn, his voice thoughtful. "I used to think love had to be dramatic, full of passion and chaos. But now, I think it's about peace. About feeling safe." Korn smiled, his arm wrapping around Niren. "Safe, even when I trip over everything?" "Especially then," Niren replied, his laughter soft. Fum listened, his heart swelling. He had spent years feeling like his love was incomplete, misunderstood. But here, with Ananda beside him and Niren and Korn nearby, he felt whole. The temple bells rang again, their sound carrying into the night. The four of them sat together, lanterns glowing above, knowing that their paths had intertwined into something lasting. The rooftop garden of the condo had always been quiet, a hidden space above Sukhumvit's chaos. Few residents bothered to climb the extra flights of stairs, but Korn had discovered it one evening while chasing after a dropped grocery bag. Since then, it had become their sanctuary. The four of them gathered there often, carrying snacks, drinks, and blankets. The city stretched out below, neon lights flickering, BTS trains rattling in the distance. The air was cooler up here, touched by the faint scent of jasmine from nearby balconies. Niren spread out a blanket, Korn fumbling with a bag of chips that nearly tore open. "Careful," Niren warned, laughing as Korn caught the bag just in time. Fum and Ananda settled beside them, Ananda pulling out his sketchbook, Fum carrying cups of iced tea. They sat together, the city humming beneath them. Sometimes they talked, voices weaving into the night air. Other times, they simply sat in silence, the comfort of companionship enough.